There are secrets in sexuality that are rarely spoken aloud. Secrets that, even in medical consultations, many patients whisper almost shamefully, lowering their gaze as if they were going to be judged. And one of the most intense is anal sex. For some, it's a forbidden subject. For others, an irresistible curiosity. And for many, an experience that leaves a deep mark on both body and mind. What's fascinating is that behind this taboo lie scientific, psychological, and physiological truths that almost no one explains. And today I want to reveal them with clarity and empathy. Because once you understand what really happens in your body, anal sex stops being just a daring practice and becomes a mirror of how your desire, your pleasure, and your intimate health truly work. The first forbidden truth is that the anus is not merely an exit zone, as is often believed. It's surrounded by a rich network of nerve endings which, when properly stimulated, can trigger a cascade of sensations very different from what you might expect. In men, these nerves connect indirectly to the prostate, meaning that every touch, every calculated pressure, can activate one of the most powerful pleasure centers in the body. In women, the proximity to the vagina and internal erectile structures makes this area a strategic point that multiplies the intensity of orgasms when combined with vaginal or clitoral stimulation. Few people ever talk about this, because for a long time the practice was reduced to a taboo. Yet science confirms it. The anus can be one of the most erogenous zones in the entire body, and once touched, the brain reacts immediately. And here's the curious part. The brain doesn't just process the physical stimulus, it also processes the emotional weight of the forbidden. That's the second forbidden truth. Anal sex, beyond the contact itself, creates a huge psychological impact. Simply breaking a cultural or religious rule, daring to experience something many consider unspeakable, triggers adrenaline. That adrenaline speeds up your heartbeat, makes your blood flow faster, quickens your breathing, and raises goosebumps on your skin. It's a reaction similar to jumping out of a plane. Your body understands you're in unfamiliar territory, and that mix of fear, thrill, and desire amplifies pleasure in a way conventional experiences cannot. It's no coincidence that many describe anal sex as more intense or different. What they are truly feeling is the fusion between the physical and the mental, between nerve stimulation and the weight of the forbidden. And I want you to stop and imagine this. The brain, the main sexual organ, becomes the body's accomplice. Every touch, every caress is not just processed as a local sensation, but as an event charged with adrenaline, dopamine, and endorphins. It's as if pleasure were multiplied by passing through a psychological filter that makes it even more powerful. That is the magic, and also the danger, of taboos. What is forbidden becomes doubly desired. So far, we've uncovered two of these forbidden truths, the physiological and the psychological. But the most intriguing thing is how they merge in a unique way. That's why some couples find in this practice a completely different level of connection, an intimacy they feel is almost secret, a shared pact that unites them beyond the physical act itself. And most importantly, understanding these first two truths is only the beginning. Because the third forbidden truth is not just about pleasure or adrenaline, but about something much deeper, something rarely spoken aloud. What happens to your intimate health, to your body, and how this practice can transform you if it's done consciously. The third forbidden truth has to do with intimate health, and this is where most people get it wrong. Anal sex is not inherently dangerous, but it is when practiced in ignorance. The anus was not designed for penetration like the vagina. Its walls are more delicate, its muscles tighter, and it lacks natural lubrication. That means that without proper preparation, micro tears, pain, or infections can occur. But what almost nobody says, and what studies in clinical sexuality confirm, is that with the right care, anal sex can be just as safe and pleasurable as any other practice. Specific water or silicone-based lubricants, mindful breathing, relaxation exercises, and above all, patience. These are the keys. Both men and women must understand, without preparation, the body protects itself. With preparation, the body opens to pleasure. This is one of the most silenced truths because it dismantles the idea that, if it hurts, it's normal. No, it's not normal. Pain is a signal that something isn't being done right. The fourth forbidden truth takes us into an even more interesting territory, the mind. Anal sex doesn't just activate nerve endings, it also tests the psychology of each person. For many men, accepting anal stimulation awakens prejudices, fears, and doubts about their masculinity. For many women, admitting they enjoy it triggers guilt or fear of being judged. But the truth is, biology doesn't recognize taboos. The anus and prostate in men, as well as the perianal nerves and vagina in women, are full of nerve receptors. They are areas that respond to stimulation regardless of gender. And once you understand this, you stop seeing the practice as something forbidden and begin to see it as a doorway to much broader sexual freedom. What seemed like a taboo becomes a field of exploration, where pleasure and mind work together. And here's the crucial point. The true power of anal sex is not just in what happens physically, but in the courage to face one's own prejudices. The fifth forbidden truth is perhaps the most revealing. Anal sex can become an amplifier of intimacy and complicity in a relationship. Think about it. It's a practice that cannot be improvised. It requires constant communication, absolute trust, and mutual care. Desire alone isn't enough. It needs coordination, patience, and respect. That dedication creates a silent pact. I trust you, you trust me. And that pact translates into an emotional bond that goes far beyond the physical moment. Both men and women acknowledge, after sharing this experience consciously, the relationship changes. They feel closer, more united, as if they had crossed together a frontier most never dare to explore. It's not just sex, it's an experience that leaves a mark, that strengthens the connection on a very deep level. And here's what almost nobody admits. Anal sex, when understood and practiced with respect, is not only a source of pleasure but also a mirror that reveals your level of trust, communication, and sexual maturity. That's why I say these 5 truths are just the beginning of a journey. Because what comes next is even more revealing. In upcoming videos, we'll go deeper into specific techniques, myths that have confused entire generations, real risks and how to avoid them, and secrets that science knows but rarely make their way into open conversations like this. I want you to see it as a series, a map that will guide you step by step to understand everything anal sex can offer you, without taboos or prejudices, from the most basic to the most advanced. So tell me in the comments, which of these truths surprised you the most? The biological part that almost nobody explains, the psychological power of facing prejudice, the safety measures that make it secure, or the intimacy it can create in a relationship. Subscribe, because what we've just talked about is only the beginning. What's coming are videos that will show you anal sex like you've never heard it before, with science, with clarity, and with that dose of revelation that completely transforms the way you experience intimacy.